Hi, COVID kids. So if you're at home watching this and you have COVID, normally I don't do the starter, but I'm doing the starter today because we're doing an activity in class and you are just going to do it at home. So here we go. I'm going to do like 1 and 3 and 5 to make sure everyone's kind of got the hang of it. Then we're going to go upstairs. We're going to bring all of our stuff. We're going to go up to the teacher's lounge and do our scavenger hunt. And then we're going to call it a day. So today, Monday, will go pretty fast. So here's what we're doing. We're factoring this and pulling out our answers, right? And so we're solving these. We know we're solving because we have the thing that says that it equals 0. And I also said on the directions, solve this. So those are the things. So on number 1, it's a 4-parter. So we're going to do the cutting it in half thing. Everybody okay with that, right? So here's what we're going to do. Sarah's watching me. Here we go. Still Sarah, still Sarah. There she goes. Oh, would you do me a favor, just a tiny favor? No, you don't have to do it. Just switch to that desk. It's just so much easier to see. Okay, so I'm going to take out the x squared, and I'm left with x minus 1. Anyone? Did I lose anyone on that? No? Any of my absent people want to shout at me? Yes?
Okay, why does the x squared go on?
Because I can take out an x squared from him and an x squared from him.
Okay.
Good question. And then what's left here is just that 1. Does that make sense? Good question. On this one, I'm going to take out the 5, like a plus 5, and I'm left with x minus 1. So that's good. That's stuff from last semester. That's what we did right before we left. These match. So we're going to say x minus 1. That's good. And then I'm going to have x squared plus 5. That's factored form. Yay. Everyone should be cool to there. Now I'm going to get my answers out. If it's got no squared, it's super easy. I just take it out opposite. So this guy will be 1. That is one of my answers. Yay! When it's got a squared, it's going to be a little bit trickier, but we can do it. We're like pros. So we're going to say x squared plus 5 equals 0. We're going to move the 5 to the other side. X squared equals negative 5. Everybody's still with me. No one's like, oh, I'm so lost. Okay. Now I'm going to use my square root. Square root, square root. So now I'm going to get a kind of a funky answer. I'm going to get x squared, or x, because that squared went away, equals, and here's where it gets weird, and I need everyone to be okay on this. We're going to have a quiz not this week, next Tuesday. So here's what happens. We're going to make the I come out, because we can never have a negative inside the square root. I root 5 is an awesome answer. That's an awesome, awesome answer. But we have to remember, whenever we have squareds, we get 2 answers. We get the plus version, which is this guy, and we get the minus version, which is this guy. And that tells me I have 3 answers. Here they are, 1, 2, 3. And this is a little tricky, and that's why we're just going to work on this again today. Questions today? Yes?
I have 2 questions. Do we have to put the I?
Yes, and here's why. Because I'm never allowed to have a negative inside the square root. It actually makes my square root kind of explode. So the way I account for that is I say, okay, I'm just going to pull out the I. So whenever you have a square root inside that or a negative inside that square root, just say to yourself, ah! He just comes out like that.
And where did the x squared come from?
The x squared, this guy. So when I cross those off, I had this guy and that guy.
No, like, oh, so you put them together.
Yeah, because I took out what I could, which was this guy, and then I had this guy and this guy left over. Does that make sense? Yeah.
What's the difference between 5i and I root 5?
Oh, good question.
Oh, so it's when it's like a perfect square.
Yes, because then that's going to be 5. Does that make sense? Good question. That's it, and it is a little tricky. Okay, we're going to try another one. We're going to try let's try number 3. Let's move up to number 3. So let me get rid of this guy, come down here, he joins the pile over here. I'm never gonna find him again. And let's bring this dude up. Okay. Now, this guy, a little bit weirder, This is a three-parter. So we're going to be doing this kind of factoring, the X factoring. But when we do the X factoring, we're gonna have to watch this one because he's a little tricky. So I told you the second semester, we kind of step up our game a little bit. Here's what we're gonna look at. It's gonna look like this, and the reason I know this is because, I'm gonna put a 1 there. 1, 2, 3 parts, 3 parts. Factors of negative 30 that make or subtract to be 1. I need 2 numbers that multiply to be 30, but when I subtract them, they make 1.
5 and negative 6.
5 and negative 6, are we good on that? I got 5 and 6, right? And I know the 6 has to be, I think it's actually negative 5, positive 6. Is that good? Everybody cool with that? Questions? Everyone's looking at him, everyone's okay on this. Abby, you're good? Yep. Yeah? Okay, so here we go. Now the only thing that's weird here on this one, I'm gonna have negative 5, positive 6, but this is x to the 4th. It's even. It's perfectly splittable. So it's going to be x squared here and x squared here. Any questions to that? Are we okay with that? Yeah? Okay. So now we're ready to solve it. We're ready to go to this guy and suck out our answers. Are you ready? Here's what we're going to say. X squared minus 5 equals 0. Still okay? We're going to add 5 to both sides. X squared, Kimmy, you guys are good? As long as you're good, you can talk, but I just want to make sure you're good, yeah? Okay. Everyone still good? Here's what I'm going to do. Square root. So one of my answers is root 5. Yay! But I also know it comes in pairs. Whenever I have a squared, I get a positive answer and a negative answer. Can I see a wiggle of fingers of people who got 5 and negative 5? Well, I'm getting about half of you, okay. So now we got to do the exact same thing, but now we got to do this guy. I promise you, the more you do these, the more you'll see like, oh, this isn't bad. I got the hang of this. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to subtract 6. X squared equals negative 6. Square root. This is the thing that we were talking about a few minutes ago. I got that negative inside, so the first thing I do is yank out, that sounds so gross, yank out my I. Are you cool with that, right? That gives me one of my answers, I root 6. And what I have to remember is I always get them in pairs. I get a positive one and a negative one, right? No lie, this is what we're practicing today. We're just practicing this, okay? Yeah? Okay. Let's do one last one and then let's head upstairs and see if we can practice these. Okay, last one. Let me get rid of this guy. Get over here. And here's this guy. Okay. This is as hard as it gets. No lie, this is as bad as these get. If you can do this one, you're a pro. But this is tricky, and this is why we're spending a second day on it. Okay. It's a 3-parter, right? 1, 2, 3 parts. Let's count the parts so we know that they're there. 1, 2, 3. So I know I'm going to be doing this guy. Yay. But I got a little bit of a problem. That's not an even number, and I need it to be an even number. So what do I do before I even start this problem? I do something little, something pretty easy. Any brave, willing to, yeah. I take out an X from everyone. You're so awesome. X comes out. X to the 4, 13x squared plus 42. Now I am good to go. So here's where I'm gonna go. Right away, before, well, I'll do that at the end. I'm gonna come over here and say 42 and 13. I need two numbers that multiply to be 42, but when I add them, make 13. Pretty easy numbers.
6 and 7.
Thank you for shouting that. Thank you for you all. 6 and 7. On camera, you know what? They're much smarter. It's just really early in the morning. Yeah. It would be like so disappointing to you. So here's what I've got. Something plus 6, something plus 7. So I'm going to cut that guy in half. I can split them up nicely. X squared and x squared. Don't forget to bring this guy down. He's part of our answer. So here come our answers. We're going to get 5 answers. This guy says 5. So here are my 5 answers. The easiest answer right there is my favorite. 0. Yay! This guy's going to look like this. X squared plus 6 equals 0. X squared equals negative 6. Square root, square root. X equals I root 6 and negative I root 6. He's done. And the last guy, x squared plus 7 equals 0. X squared equals negative 7. Square root, square root. X equals, now you're getting the hang of it, I root 7 and negative I root 7. Do you guys see the pattern? It's not bad once you get going. Okay, so Asina's going to stop my tape. Bye, COVID kids. Have a good day. Feel better.